Mist Astrologer, and this is your inner goddess reading for Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Rising, and Capricorn Moon. So, my beautiful Capricorn goddess, what are you thinking of right now? Are your thoughts working for you, or are they working against you? You have the Nine of Wands and the Fool. So you may be very determined to do something. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to move in a new direction. Maybe you're dealing with children. Maybe you're very determined on how you're going to deal with the child, or your child is a little bit rebellious or very determined. But you're very protective of yourself right now. Maybe you're trying to protect your strength, some kind of power that you hold, your assets. You're having to stand your ground. Maybe this is new for you. Maybe this is a new approach for you. You want to push something through. In the process, you may be very guarded. Maybe you're expecting some kind of battle or something in the offing, and maybe because there have been some prior conflicts. So you want to protect your rights. There's something, though, that is beginning to wear on your endurance level. You have been struggling with something. Victory is going to come to you, but you're going to have to put in a lot of time and effort because something unexpected may wear on you physically, the stamina that it takes to move in a new direction. You could be meeting new people, having new experiences. It could be you even experience some kind of unexpected setback with regard to your domestic affairs or career. So you're having to protect yourself, and you gained a lot of wisdom and experience through this process. It's time for you to rethink some things, reassess your values, change some bad habits that have brought you to a place where maybe you are a little bit unsettled. There's a lack of commitment, or you're determined to get some kind of commitment from something. So you're changing the way you look at a situation so that you can make some changes. Now, if you have experienced something unexpected that went haywire, a little bit off, maybe you weren't, using common sense. There was too much optimism in something. Maybe you took a risk, an unnecessary or foolish risk. Or perhaps you were just counting on something playing out differently because you had this Pollyanna view of the situation. But right now, the Nine of Wands says you're beginning to understand whatever the lesson was of a situation. And because you have this new outlook, that means you can take a new and better approach and be more practical in the way you're handling situations. You're not letting your emotions, hopefully, take over the way you would have before. And because of that, you have more presence, this courage under fire to stand your ground against something difficult and achieve what you want. But this is one step at a time. This is not getting ahead of yourself. You can't come up with the grand scheme, the grand plan. This is about today, right here, right now. Now, it could be you're upset and you're having to defend yourself because you haven't made changes you know you need to make. It could be you're falling back into some old habits. You haven't changed your attitude or how you deal with people or how you deal with circumstances. And that's what's blocking you from doing something new, from a new direction. You can't advance. So you may feel this great sense of loss, or you may be confused, but right now what you need to be is objective. You need to distance yourself from a situation and try to rely strictly on the facts rather than your emotions to guide you. You're going to have to rethink a situation, perhaps before you move in a new direction and make any changes. Now, this says like you mean it. And so this Nine of Wands is a very determined card. It's about Again, protecting your rights, standing up for yourself, being very determined. So you may be upset if you feel powerless, or you're losing your power, or you're overpowered by others. Maybe there's some kind of barrier that you have to overcome, or maybe you're just being obstinate. Maybe you're being overly defensive, and that is the impediment that's blocking you. The Fool card says that, like it or not, a new chapter has begun. You're having to move in a new direction, whether you're prepared or not. So get ready, make the most of it. You may be meeting new people that have some impact on your future. It's a good time to, put you out there, network, socialize, make it known who you are and what you can do. And maybe you've been struggling to do that, but maybe you haven't really committed yourself. Could be there's been some self-absorption, or you've been oblivious to situations that were risky for you. So now it's time for you to take an approach like you really mean it. If you want to move in a new direction, you're going to have to commit yourself. You're going to have to be determined in spite of whatever struggle you might face. Now, what's going on with your body, Capricorn? Are you actively taking good care of yourself, being conscious of what you put in your body, how you're moving? Are you comfortable in your own skin with your body image, your presentation of beauty? Or are you not caring for yourself? Are you letting things go? Are you not doing what you need to? Are you being too critical or harsh on yourself, or not holding yourself to the standard you know that you can maintain? You have Knight of Cups and Seven of Cups. So the Knight of Cups is about agreements, offers, proposals. They could be romantic, business in nature, social in nature. There could be some kind of emotional situations taking place. Something's moving forward. But there's also either some confusion or some overwhelm regarding that. So for some of you, it could be that you're scattering your energy in too many places. You're trying to do too many things when you need to prioritize. This may also mean looking at what you purchase. If you're putting yourself in financial risk, that is obviously going to take a toll on your physical and emotional well-being. This may mean be very conscious of what has value. Maybe, purchasing high quality foods, or, whatever it is that you need to, maybe this has to do with a prescription or a drug or a supplement, something that you need to improve your health. For some of you, there may be some problems with your feet. Maybe there's some malnutrition. So again, you need to be careful of what you're putting into your body. There could be some issues with addictions. What are you consuming? Is it too much sugar, too much alcohol? For some of you, there could be some sexual concerns, maybe some uterine issues, female health problems. Others of you may be experiencing some form of depression, some low vitality. You feel overwhelmed by circumstances. It could be you're dealing with abusive people, their arguments that are causing these health problems. It could be that there's some kind of infection that you're fighting. Or maybe there's some environmental toxins that you're not aware of. For some of you, this is a Knight of Cups who is very romantic. He is seductive. You may be dealing with a water sign person. It could be a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits of this Knight are important. Now, this is somebody who is extremely passionate, can become obsessed with the object of his desire. So maybe there's overwhelming passion or desire. Could even be jealousy that turns into a problem. Which leads me to say you may have some kind of dangerous sexual encounter. For some of you, these strong desires are taking you in a negative turn toward drugs or alcohol abuse. For some of you, maybe there's an agreement that you need to honor that has to do with getting some lab work or some blood work. But whatever it is, something is occurring. You feel overwhelmed because it's maybe perhaps happening more quickly than you had expected or even intended. So again, you may feel overwhelmed by whatever you have to do. These invitations, these engagements, offers. Some of you may even be overwhelmed by psychic impressions. You may be getting some kind of messages that can connect to your body. There could be a desire to buy and shop for things that make you feel beautiful. Luxury items. Maybe you want to improve your image or how you look. Others of you, you're really putting a lot of effort into some kind of project. Could be a creative endeavor. Maybe you're a painter, a writer, a singer, a poet. Whatever you are, you're putting a lot of energy into it. And all of that energy may at some point take a toll on your physical body, or perhaps your own beauty, your image, your presence is part of the package. That's going to be very important for whatever you're trying to do. There is an issue, though, where with the Knight of Cups, something is not quite revealed. Not everything is on the table. And maybe, you're not being honest with yourself about how you feel. Maybe you're overwhelmed with your feelings, or there's an inability to really grasp what you're feeling. You may lose yourself, avoid your feelings through some kind of escapist tendency. So right now you could have some real strong mood swings, or, there's the potential to get a little bit ugly when you need relief. So you're having to be careful about maybe your chemistry, being overwhelmed, where you're putting your energy. Your emotional self is having an effect on your body. And you have pay the piper. So it could be some indulgence, whatever that is. You're having to pay the price, the consequence if you've gone too far. Or maybe you realize that to get something going, you're going to have to invest. Maybe, your physical ideal, again, is part of the package. And so you want to put your image out there. You're going to have to pay the piper. You're going to have to invest maybe in some clothing, or getting your hair done, or whatever it is that you need to do. So this is about paying the piper, either to invest more in your health, your image, or recognizing that now you're going to have to deal with the consequences of the way you've been living, caring for yourself, or not. Now, what is connected to your creativity, how you honor yourself, this self-nourishment, your dreams, your passion, the way spirit flows through you? You have the Nine of Swords and the Empress. So you may be very anxious to get something going that seems to be in incubation. Or you may be very worried about a project. Or it could be, again, there's illness that is impacting your mode of expression. Maybe you're worried about how you express yourself, or you're anxious to do that. But something could be keeping you up. There could be some level of stress or remorse or regret. You may be looking at the choices that others are making and disapproving, and that becomes some kind of friction. The Empress is about communication. So maybe you're anxious to smooth over the way you communicate, the way you express your creativity, something artistic. And this is a time where you can do that, and maybe perhaps even make some better connections. You may be anxious to do that. Or you may be having some complications health-wise or emotional-wise that is affecting your creative output. For some of you, there's a focus on motherhood. Maybe you really want to be a mother, or you have anxiety about becoming a mother. Maybe you don't want to be a mother, or there's some friction between you and a mother figure or an important woman in your life. So there's something that you're going over, but you may not be considering all of your options. Perhaps maybe there's some things that you might do that you haven't, the ideas haven't come to you yet, or you cross those off the list because maybe you felt like it wasn't a viable option. So there are other choices. You just have to reconcile whether you want to deal with it. Now, there could be some anxiety, as I said, because you want something to move along, and maybe there's some confusion about that. The commitment level, maybe even protecting something. It could be something that is yours. Maybe you're worried about protecting your creative license or rights to something. This is about knowing that you're going to have to put practical effort in. If you've been scattering your energy, it's time to prioritize and hone in on what's important. You can't do everything. You can't be all things to all people. So you're going to have to make important choices that will give you some quality of life. And the Empress is about your well-being, your success, your happiness, the ability to constructively use the law of attraction to your favor. But nothing is just going to come to you. You have to actively apply yourself, put in the due diligence, and remain enthusiastic about what you're involved in. But this also speaks to that Seven of Cups and self-indulgence, because there's some anxiety that may have been caused by too much of something or not enough. So again, this could be too much eating, too much drinking, too much talking, too much socializing, or consequently the other extreme. You're not doing enough of something. You're not exercising. You're exercising too much. You're not eating enough. You're not eating the right thing. It's, you're having to find that middle ground. So something is affecting you emotionally on a deep level. Again, it may tie to something that you are trying to bring life to, whether that's a person, a relationship, or a project. But you need to know that this is the seed that you've planted that has to be grown, tended, and nurtured until you can see those results. And it just got real. Now, for some of you, maybe you're realizing that you have a problem. Maybe it's an addiction problem. Maybe there's a problem with a project. Maybe you've gotten the success and it just got real what that's going to entail. Maybe it just got real on how you're going to have to pay the price for something that you've been doing. So whatever it is, the Empress says your willingness to help, to apply yourself, to be diligent and retain that enthusiasm is going to be important to a circumstance. What is your goddess magic during this period? This is your magic to manifest. It's how you can bring positive things into your life, and not only yourself, but into the lives of others, because it's your gift that you can share. This is your strength. So you have the Ace of Cups and the Devil. So for some of you, there may be a love partner, an ex, returning into the picture. That's just an aside note. But you have a strength of the ability to share your feelings, to tap into divine source. Perhaps you have some psychic abilities, or you have an ability that is artistic or creative or just loving. You have the ability to share your feelings in an honest and open way with others. So you may be connecting with people, or maybe being honest with yourself, making a promise to yourself about some old habits, because the Devil reversed is a very extreme card that can go either way. This is the card in reverse that is either saint or sinner. So the most extreme shadow is dealing with evil. Spiritual blindness, yielding to temptation, feeling superior to others, standing on some kind of moral high ground, or being excessively morally upright, self-righteousness. Or, on the other end of the spectrum, it's getting healthy, it's releasing something, it's saying no to whatever has been binding you. The Devil is a restrictive energy, where you may be dealing with delays, obstacles, challenges, authority figures, tyrants, abuses of power, shadow behavior. So maybe you're releasing yourself from some form of manipulation. Maybe you're recognizing some destructive behaviors and you're beginning to deal with them. So for some of you, you are blessed with recovery from illness, recovery from negative situations, and you have the power to share and express and love in ways that heal other people from that. For some of you, your gift is this opportunity for soul retrieval. Whatever would have claimed you and consumed you in a negative way, whatever has kept you in bondage, or that of others, you have the ability through connecting to Source, to love, to your highest self, to overcome that. But before you get there, you got this card. Seriously? So you may be sharing your feelings with others. Maybe you're having to go back over something that's chronic, something habitual, where you're thinking, shouldn't we have gotten past this by now? But remember, your strength is the ability to remain in love, the flow of love, the ability to keep a promise, to, shoot for the top, to connect to Source, to tap into your emotions. In fact, this is going to be a period where you are compelled to share how you feel about situations. And maybe you're asking people to get real with themselves, to deal with their stuff. Or again, maybe you're having a real conversation with yourself. In any case, it just got real. Now, what is the lesson of love in relation to yourself or others that you need to be mindful of? The late bloomer flourishes long after others have gone to seed. Okay, so if you have concerns that you want something to get going, you're anxious for it to move, to grow, to birth, and you're upset. You've been trying to push it and you're struggling to make it happen. And there's been some confusion. People haven't been open. There's some vagueness or untruths or something that is uncertain. Don't worry about it. You're maybe a late bloomer. And when everybody else has petered out, here you come. You're opening up your flower. And so the late bloomer is not a bad place to be. Something about a situation, whatever that is for you, a relationship, a project, something, maybe even your health. Maybe, you want to look a certain way, or you're concerned about aging, or how you may be blocked because of age or a delay or some kind of restriction. But don't worry about it. You're going to flourish long after everybody else has, shut down. Now, what is your goddess, your archetype that you should follow during this time? What is the message that you have? You have Iris, communication. So let's see what her message is. Clarity in communication is called for, as your words will have great impact on others right now. It's a wonderful time to start writing that book, telling new stories, and sharing your experience, strength, and hope with others. You have everyone's ear, so choose your message wisely. Others will also desire positive and fruitful communication with you, so get ready for some amazing new opportunities to come from these discussions. Just remember to stay open and be clear about expressing your deepest desires, always speaking with integrity, kindness, and respect for yourself and others. The Greek messenger goddess Iris is thrilled to help your words take flight. Communication improves in all your relationships when she comes to visit. Most important, however, Iris reminds you of the communication you have with the universe. You are in mutual dialogue, and now is the time to pay attention to the signs and omens in your life. Trust this important yet subtle communication. It will never lead you astray when you listen and act accordingly. Well, that totally ties into this sharing of your feelings, getting past any confusion in agreements, being vague or uncertain or misleading. It ties to, having that psychic connection to divine source. Now, what is the last message from the universe? The presence of love will always cast out fear. So, the devil is nothing but fear and pessimism and negativity. And so again, your gift is this sharing of your love, your expression, even, your projects, the outlet that you take. Your communication is key, and it has a great impact on others, because fear is one of the most negative emotions. It's a total manifestor blocker. Now, what is the underlying energy? You have the Sun card, and the answer is you. So we know that the Sun, this is the underlying energy. It's what's pushing the events for you. We know the Sun is all about you, the very self. It represents the life force, your vitality, your will, your health. So that may be a strong focus for you. It's also about your success, your destiny, and claiming your authority. So for some of you, there's something to be optimistic about. There's some opportunities on the horizon, and you have to avail yourself of those. You're going to be connecting with influential people, people that can open doors, people that are impressed by you, people that have power, that believe in you. So you're going to have a resourceful network, a well to draw upon that can push you ahead. But you have to not let yourself get overwhelmed or scatter your energies. Be discerning, be selective about what you get involved with. Because as soon as these opportunities arrive, they're going to ask demands of you. It's going to be more challenging. You're going to be required to show up. Now, it's possible that, you're trying to push too many things, or you're trying to push something forward before it's ready. And you're going to experience some form of personal burnout if you do that. You may be frustrated or impatient and tend to lash out, go too far, and then your project or desire or hope or health really is stalled because of that. So the Sun, you may be focused on children. Maybe you need a vacation. Maybe you need some actual sun in your life. Maybe this is about a father figure or an important male. But ultimately, success stops at you. The answer is you. You have a great deal of self-empowerment right now. And it's time to recognize situations and who the key players are, the role that they're going to play, and your own role in your future. So you could be making some important decisions that impact your destiny in the long term. Again, this may be the area of romance. It could be projects. It could be your health. It may be all of the above. So this is about you taking personal responsibility for that health and happiness. Now, this is about sharing, communion with others, sharing the wealth, the prosperity, exchanges of information. For some of you, I don't know if anything connected to love triangles is going to show up, but this is about connecting with others in social events. 3 could be important somehow. You're going to have the opportunity to exchange a lot of information. So you need to be mindful of your communication, what's coming in and what's going out. You need to be able to discern fact from fiction. Some of what you hear is going to be gossip. It's going to be fluff. It's going to be trivial, irrelevant. And it's going to be pertinent that you can distinguish what is real. It's also going to be important that you're mindful of what you're saying to others. So this is a time to be totally honest, truthful. Don't stretch something. Don't embellish the truth. Don't make something exaggerated. And others may have a tendency to do that to you. So being able to determine what is truth is going to be important, because there's something about your circumstances right now that is unstable. There are no pentacles here. Maybe money is an issue, or security somehow. Maybe there's some pie in the sky ideals. Somebody is overwhelmed. There's a tendency to be dishonest maybe with others or self about what really has true value. And maybe, you know, there's a tendency to try to escape situations and not deal with the consequences. But again, it just got real. You're going to have to deal with some things. Maybe you're still working some of those details out. Whatever it is, it ties to the past. The past is now barreling down on the present. And there's a strong focus on your work and your productivity. You only have two major cards, the Fool and the Devil reverse, which says that you're going to have to use common sense. You're going to have to open up to new experiences, but remain practical about what's possible and not get so caught up in your own self that you become insensitive to the needs of other people. So this is about taking that leap of faith after you've done the homework as far as the details. Because if you're overconfident, and you may take a leap, but that net may not be there. Now, the Devil reverse says decency, integrity is going to be important. And that was talked about in your communication card. Being above board, being direct, being clear of your desires, your intentions, and recognizing where there's some vulnerability in yourself or others to be exploited or to yield to some kind of petty or obsessive temptation.